Hello from Myrtle Beach. Today we're going to take you for a walk both on the boardwalk and also down on the beach. Believe it or not, the ocean is right there. We are going to talk about winter weather and how crazy it can be here in Myrtle Beach. Hi, I'm Carmen. If you're new here, we cover everything Myrtle Beach and the surrounding area. And if you're a return viewer, welcome back. We are so glad to have you with us. So I wanted to start here on the boardwalk before we go down to the beach. So right now you should have a perfectly clear view of the sky wheel, but it is so foggy that you can't even hardly see it. I can barely make out the cars. This would not be the best day to ride the sky wheel. I don't think you'd have much of a view today. Normally we would highly recommend the sky wheel, and we have a video of it down in the description below if you're curious. But we have had a crazy winter weather this year. We've actually had a fairly warm winter overall, probably seasonally normal for this area. We get some days, today is going to be 70, tomorrow is going to be 72, but just last week, if you follow us on YouTube and you're subscribed, we posted a comment showing that the real feel was 7 degrees and it was about 20 degrees actual temperature. It was really windy and really cold, and that was just a week ago, and now it's going to be 70 and we've got this crazy fog. So we wanted to talk a little about winter weather because we get so many questions about that. Now, if you want to know the nitty gritty, I'm talking about average highs, average lows, water temperature, all of that kind of stuff, check the video in the description below. We have a weather playlist, and there's a winter weather video there where I go into all the details about that. So everything about, like, if you're wanting to know what to pack and stuff, but we're going to talk about some of that today as well. I wanted to get up here where you can actually see the ghosty sky wheel. It does look a little eerie. And if you're curious about the time of day, we're right up in the middle of the day. So, you can see businesses are open and stuff. You're going to see a variety of clothes. Right now it's not 70 yet. That's going to be the high. So right now it's in the 60s. So like I've got shorts, but a long sleeve blouse on. I think Brian's wearing shorts and a short sleeve shirt, but you're going to see some people that are dressed warmer. It depends on your cold tolerance. And also moving helps. We're moving around, so that keeps you warmer as well. But there's that crazy ghosty looking sky wheel. So let's head down to the beach. If you're not familiar with our boardwalk, oh, there goes a cat. I just missed filming it. There he is. I don't know if you guys can see him. He's hunched in right there. Oh yeah, there's another one. Little kitties. Hi, kitty. Aw. There's a lot of cats on the boardwalk. If you haven't come down here, there's a lot of cats. I see little cat prints in the sand as well. But anyway, the boardwalk does have public beach access if you're not familiar with our boardwalk. So you can come down here to the boardwalk. And also, if you're interested where to park to come to the boardwalk, we have a video on that. I'll link that in the description below. We even tell you a free place to park because the parking can be quite expensive, especially in that parking deck down here at the boardwalk. But we also show you some cheaper, closer lots if you don't want to walk a little bit that are still less expensive and closer than that big parking deck that most people are familiar with. So look at this. This is just crazy, this fog. And they said we're going to have this fog for several days. We were wondering this morning if the airport's closed. I did not check to see if we drove by, I didn't see any planes. I don't see how they could land in this. This is pretty crazy fog. But let's talk about winter weather in general. So like I mentioned last week, we had a real feel of 7. Now we're going to have 70 and 72 degree highs. That is the perfect example. That's why I wanted to talk about this today, of what the winter weather is like in Myrtle Beach. It is unpredictable and it is not the same all the time. The good news is it typically doesn't stay a sustained cold. So we will have cold, like I mentioned, like we had last week, but it usually only lasts a day or two. I would say, just from my personal gut, not going by statistics, average here, highs in the winter is probably the 50s, maybe low 60s, but mostly I'd say it's probably in the 50s. And the average lows are in the low 40s or high 30s. I think that's what most days are like in the winter. The thing is, it doesn't stay anyway for very long. We get warm days, we get cold days. So that's why I always say, I've said this in a lot of my videos, if you're coming here and you're trying to figure out how to pack for December, January, or February, and even really early March, you want to pack layers. Actually, any time in the spring. It can get cool in the spring here. It's not common, but it can, and it won't get super cold, but it might get chilly where you need a jacket and long pants. But for the winter, for sure, bring layers. Check the weather before you come. So if you're only coming for a week, you can check the weather forecast. We recommend, and we are not sponsored by them, WMBF has a weather app. You can download that to your phone to check Myrtle Beach weather, or you can just check on AccuWeather or weather.com or one of those type of places to see if you're only coming for a week. But I know some of you come for extended stays in the winter, so you can't just check the week forecast. You come for like 2 weeks to a month or longer. And so my advice is pack layers. Bring shorts and t-shirts or short sleeve shirts, whatever you like to wear. Bring pants. For sure, bring a jacket and bring a winter coat, like if you're going to be here for a long time, because you could need it. You could need the full-on winter ensemble. And I know those of you who are up north, you think that our cold weather is funny, and I'm sure it is to you. We've got a lot of neighbors from the north, and they laugh. I'll be bundled up and they're walking around in shorts. So it all depends on your personal preference and what you're used to and how cold tolerant you are. But I recommend bringing everything if you can. If you're flying and you're having to be really careful about what you pack, at least bring a bunch of layers so you can layer up if it gets really cold. And at least bring a jacket minimally for the winter. Brian, do you have any thoughts on the winter weather here?
Great.
Yeah, well, he just said it's great. It really is, because we didn't move that far. We live here permanently if you're not familiar with us. And if you are new, again, welcome. We're glad to have you watching. And we moved here from North Carolina, not that far away, but the winters here are way better. And this is a big part of the reason right here, because even if you go to a city like Conway, which is very close to us, in the winter it can be like a good 5 degrees colder there, because we have the ocean keeping our temperatures warmer. That Gulf Stream really makes a big difference in the temperatures here in the winter. And so our winters are milder, but yet I like the summers better here too, because we almost always have some wind. And when it's really hot and humid, that wind makes a huge difference. It makes it a lot more pleasant. So personally for me, I find the weather here nicer both in the summer and the winter. And also we have really long bridge seasons, and what I'm talking about is spring and fall. It stays warm really late in the fall compared to most places. Again, it's that ocean bringing in, look at this fog. This is just crazy. So right there's the sky wheel. It's stopped moving now, but you can't even see where we came from. This is just crazy. Little sun. He's trying to get through, trying to burn through, but I don't think it's going to be successful from the weather forecast. Ooh, the ocean's about to get us here. But yeah, I highly recommend the weather here. I think it's great, and I love how we still get the full 4 seasons. I've got questions from friends up north, those of you who watch the channel, Canadian friends, asking if we get snow here. No, very rarely. I can't say 100% no, it happens, but it's incredibly rare here. It's a big deal. Everybody goes out if it snows, which is probably the last thing you should do, but it's a very big, exciting deal if it snows. And it usually lasts a couple hours and then it melts the same day. It's just so uncommon. Before we moved here, we were staying here, and we were there during Winter Storm Grayson, and it sleeted while we were here. But again, it melted very quickly. It's just really, really rare. It can happen, but it's super rare. So that's not something you really have to worry about coming here. And like I said, even if it happens, it's not going to stay on the ground very long. So you don't have to worry about, driving in it or packing for snow. That's just highly, highly unlikely. I mean, if it stayed cold here long, the palm trees wouldn't survive. And we've got, I don't know if you can see them through the fog, but we've got tons of palm trees. There's riptides. So this is Pier 14. They do have a restaurant here. It's near the boardwalk. And normally you can see it clearly from the boardwalk, but today is not that day for clear views. One more look at this amazing ocean and this just crazy, crazy fog. There's that ghosty sky wheel again. If you have any questions about the weather, definitely leave those below. We will answer all your questions to the best of our ability. Also, if you enjoy this video, give it a like because that really helps other people find our video. If you want to learn more about Myrtle Beach, be sure to click on the video on your screen right now. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.